to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, the show needs an intro. This is that intro. Trivia Tuesday. McCarty's coming by. Sam keeps the tempo, and there's a little bit of red in my eyes. Good morning and welcome to the Wake.Show, everybody. How you doing, Robert, Maribel, cousin? It's good to see you. Good to see you flipping by. Nick, good morning. And Chris McCarty will be coming by the show today. And we've got a very serious discussion about Hawaiian history that we're going to get into. I claim that it's hypocrisy and there's some irony when we see I haven't seen it in a while. You know, I know every now and again there'll be kind of an I don't know, an upswelling of those of Hawaiian heritage to try to hold on to that heritage and not get it, Americanized too much. And so I was like, well, listen, those people that are complaining about, they want to hold on to some of that old, heritage and, whatever comes, the culture that comes along with it. Like, I got to remind them that it wasn't that just a few hundred years ago that the people that were before them were displaced by them, and they were a peaceful people. Then, according to the fossil record and what we think we know, well, it looks like 1,000 years. 1,000 years. America's been around for 250 or whatever, 270 years, whatever that is. Wait, what's the number? Where are we? 1776. So 200 years would have been in 1976. So we're close. We're somewhere right
okay,
there.
That's fine.
And so I was saying that it was the people from, I believe, Tahiti area, the South Pacific, the Polynesians that were warring tribes that came up because they believed that if you you beat your enemy or ate their heart or something, you got their powers, and so. So that they were displaced by somebody before them, and this. So he texted me yesterday. He goes, I'm wrong in my history, and so he's going to correct it today when he comes in. So we'll see how that conversation goes. But Sam,
yes.
Let's get to On This Day, and then we'll get to your quote of the day.
Did it not turn on? I don't think the TV turned on.
What? TV activate. Welcome to the Wake.Show. Patrick Murphy, how are you, sir? Hope everything is well. Wifey, welcome to the show. I see Lauren's on for a couple minutes anyway. She just stops in to make sure I make it to work on time and then goes back to work, I think.
She checks in on you.
Yeah, she fires off a couple of comments and then heads back to work. All right, we start off with On This Day. We start the show off with On This Day, just to put things in perspective, because we can get into the news. We will get into the news of the day, the stuff you should know, and it can send you spiraling if you're not careful. So we just have to put this in perspective, that all the crap that's happening right now will one day it'll soon pass, and just one day be on this day in history. Yes, ma'am.
The TV is still not on. I'm just letting you know. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
I was trying. I was like, it's not on.
All right, it's on. Excuse me. Where's my? I think I drank all my water and my soda this morning. All right. You were talking about allergies yesterday.
Yes.
Poor little Roxy McPoopenstein. Oh, before we get into On This Day.
Where are they? Oh my god.
Because she's been so itchy, I have to travel to her vet. It's traveling.
Yeah.
Their vet is over an hour away. And it's the vet that Lauren grew up with, all her animals, and well, she's since moved away, and but she just loves that vet so much, and I completely understand. When you get somebody you trust. Jesse James was killed by the coward Robert Ford on this day. We will get to that on this day coming up. But I have to drive all the way to Pasco County to this vet after the show.
Pasco.
So I have to go all the way up there today, which will be a 40-minute drive from here. And then it's over an hour back home. And because of Roxy's anxiety, I didn't feel comfortable bringing her in, because then that's an extra hour and a half in the car today or whatever.
But you made it in really early today. So no issues this morning?
With her?
No, with you. Like you made it in really early today.
Yeah. What kind of issues are you talking about?
Just like the garage door, any of that.
No, I made it out. That was yesterday morning where I was sitting in my driveway and the garage door was going, and then of course I go, my house is trying to tell me something, and it was. I didn't lock the door, didn't shut all the way, and I didn't set the alarm. So I set the alarm and I locked the door, and then the garage door, my house cooperated the way it was supposed to.
Excellent.
All right. So with that being said, I do have some video for you this morning, Sam.
Okay.
Joey, who's the 4-year-old Yorkie, can get a little obsessive and get a little obsessed. And,
I love Joey.
And they are terriers, for goodness sake, you know? So I want to make sure, is this thing updated? It doesn't look like it has been updated. It's updating now. All right, so I want to play this video for you because he's locked in on something. We have no idea what it is because it's under the air conditioning out back. But the thing is that if you've ever, dogs can be like this, terriers especially, they get thick, they just keep going and going and going. So he's digging and digging and digging under this thing. He's already a body length underneath, and I'm like, we got to stop. We can't let him do this. The next thing you know, he's going to destable the foundation of this thing, and it's going to kill him. And then not only that, but we're probably going to have to fix the air conditioner too. We don't want either one of those things to happen. So let's see if still updating. Still updating. All right. Well, maybe you don't get that video today.
Oh man.
I'll show you the stills off my phone, but maybe you won't get that. Let me see if I do my photo stream. It's still saying updating. So whatever. Remind me. I'm going to leave this open. Remind me after on this day to come back to it. Okay.
Will do.
Because I don't know. Because I didn't get a chance to bring them in today, and I know the only reason that you guys watch this show is for the dogs. For the Wake.Pups. And you can follow them on Instagram at Wake.Pups.
Is Courts coming up?
Let's see here. I have not got Chris McCarty's coming in, but I have not got a reply from Courts.
Okay.
On this day in 1880, the Pony Express debuts, is the headline coming from History.com this morning. On this day in 1860, the first Pony Express mail traveling by horse and rider relay team simultaneously leaves St. Joseph, Missouri and Sacramento, California. 10 days later, on April 13th, the westbound rider and the mail packet completed the approximately 1,800-mile journey and arrived in Sacramento, beating the eastbound packet's arrival in St. Joseph by 2 days and setting a new standard for speedy mail delivery. Put that in perspective. 1860, all right, 100 years later is 1960. We're in 2000 and something, whatever year we're in right now. But look where we've come when it comes to mail and delivery. Think about what Amazon has done when it comes to shipping. It took them days to get across the country back in 1860 on horseback, but it was just the beginning. And for all those back then, go, man, this is a slippery slope. You start doing stuff like this, and the next thing you know, they were right. They were right. You're always right about that kind of stuff. It is eventually going to happen, but it's not going to be as bad as you think. Most importantly, on this day in 2009, Fast and Furious is the top opening day car movie. Did you ever get into any of those? Did you ever date any boys that were into those?
No, not really.
No.
Yeah.
I want to say I saw the first one and that was it. That was good enough.
Yeah, I've seen a part of one of the 25 that they have now, but. Yeah, I never watched them all. No,
I'm definitely not a typical male, not a typical guy. I didn't grow up on cars and cars being an obsession of mine. And, when your buddy got a new car, you went down and stood around it for a while and started jiggling things. I just tell you, it just wasn't me. My dad was not mechanically inclined. And so later on in life, I never gravitated towards that. The fast cars, racing, motorcycles, all that kind of stuff. I feel like I missed out. Feel like if I don't know, maybe I was low on my testosterone going back to my childhood. Confederate capital of Richmond is captured on this day in 1865. Jesse James is murdered. Murder, so foul. On this day in 1882, one of America's most famous criminals, Jesse James, is shot to death by fellow gang member Bob Ford, who betrayed James for the reward money. For 16 years, Jesse and his brother Frank committed robberies and murders throughout the Midwest. Detective magazines and pulp novels glamorized the James gang. I wonder why. Was it because they were white? Or am I just throwing race into shit? Wait for Chris to get here.
Wait for Chris. I don't know.
Because, as long as people are white or white-ish, like the Italians, we seem to glamorize it. But the gangs that are non-white seem to put into a different category. The thug category. The teenage James brothers joined up with the Southern guerrilla leaders when the Civil War broke out. Both participated in massacres of settlers and troops. Jeezums. Affiliated with the North. After the war was over, the quiet farming life of the James brothers' youth no longer seemed enticing, and the two turned to. So once they got a taste of blood, and once they they slaughtered a few people, like, oh, this is delicious, and you can get gold coins from it too once they die. It's like a video game. A video game that predates video games, a real life video game. Chris Brown, happy Tuesday, Chris. I saw the first one in theaters, and I would give my left leg to get that hour and a half back. The first what? What did I read?
Probably Fast and the Furious.
Oh, yeah. Just not my kind of movie. Although, if you go see this new Ready Player One, which I love the book.
I want to see it.
You'll still enjoy it, even if you didn't read the book or if you're not.
I want to read the book, actually.
I would. I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
I read the audiobook.
All right. Fair enough.
I listened to the book. And
that's fine.
it's read by Will Wheaton, which probably doesn't mean too much to you. But if you're an older geek, Will Wheaton meet.
Who is that?
Will Wheaton is, and I'm not a geek. For my generation, I'm on the periphery of geekdom, if I'm even in the spectrum. But Will Wheaton is was it Star Trek, famous for his role on Star Trek, and then so he's got that.
Who did he play?
Well done, well played, Sam. Well played. I have no idea.
Okay. I don't know.
I know Will Wheaton more from his appearances on Big Bang Theory, but he's only making those appearances because he's Will Wheaton from Star Trek, one of those Star Trek: The Next Generation. Maribel, who'd he play?
Okay.
Who'd he play? Hurry up. He played Dr. Crusher's son. Don't you remember, Sam? Thanks, people watching Facebook. Thank you.
I don't know. Unless it's like Spock or what's his name?
I'm with you.
The other guy,
Captain Kirk.
That's his name.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Maybe a little bit better than just because I'm older than you, but that's about it. Wesley, I believe his name was. Thanks, thanks, Jeremy. Thanks, Maribel. But anyway, it's a great book. I'm re-listening to it again. This is Ready Player One, and. Why are you not up there? So I looked down, and it's 28 hours. So if you're to read the book, you're going to have to dedicate 28 hours or 29 hours to reading the book. So you can't put all that in a movie. And they definitely geared the movie wasn't necessarily geared to my generation, even though it was supposed to be all about the 80s. I wish there were a different version, like a different director would have gotten a hold of it in a parallel universe and done a version that was more for my generation. But I get it. I'm not bitching. I'm not being one of those. I'm not being old just to be old. I realize that they know where the money is going to come from to pay for that movie, and it's not going to be from my generation. It's going to be from that 16 to 22-year-old crowd or whatever, whatever that age group is.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, this is one of those movies where you have to solve some mysteries, some verses, unlock some secrets, get some keys, move on to the next level, find an egg ultimately, and you win the game, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the first challenge is not even the first challenge, not even close to being the first challenge in the book, and you get to it pretty quickly. And it is this brings it back. This ties it all together. Fast and Furious. If you're a Fast and Furious fan, then those scenes are pretty spectacular, because then they take them up to the next level, because you're basically Fast and Furious-ing through Donkey Kong and Mario Brothers and all these things that are trying to stop you. Well, I guess was that a gorilla or was that a Godzilla? Now that I think about it, looking back. Anyway, the movie was really good, though. I do recommend it. A lot of fun. But if you really want to get into it, and if you're an 80s pop culture nut, then read the book, because they had to leave out so much in the movie. Okay. So back to On This Day before we move on. The Pony Express.
Let's see.
Here, I'll put it up for you guys to peruse too while we're looking.
Annie Hall beats out Star Wars for Best Picture.
All right. Let's see. Oh, there's a lot of stuff before that, too. All right, so we got the Jesse James shot. The Truman signs the Marshall Plan. That was big in politics in 1948, if I remember correctly. The Marshall Plan has something to do with we stay to ourselves. Is that right?
I think
we stick to our hemisphere, or was that the Monroe Doctrine? Let's click on it.
I don't want to be wrong with what my guess is, but
come on, don't be afraid to be wrong. Is this the one
where it's like, is this where states can govern themselves or something like that? Something about the states and like the power that the states have? I don't know.
All right, let's go. Let's click.
I'm totally wrong.
On this day, April 3rd, 19... Well, I said it was... I think I confused it with the Monroe Doctrine. And so let's see what the Marshall Plan...
This is the one that I was thinking of definitely happened like as soon as America was founded.
Okay, well, this is 1948.
Not this one.
President Truman signs into law the Foreign Assistance Act, commonly known as the Marshall Plan, named after the U.S. Secretary of State George C. Marshall, and the program channeled more than $13 billion in aid to Europe. Oh, so this was to rebuild Europe after the war.
Okay,
that's what the Marshall Plan was. To help So we go in. That's the American way. You go in, level the place, build them back up, and make them a little bit more compatible. All right, so Annie Hall, we'll come back to that one. Ron Brown killed in a plane crash in 1996. Unabomber arrested in 1996.
Yep.
That's the year you were born, right?
Yes.
All right, do you recall or do you know anything about the Unabomber?
Yes, I know, like, the
that's
basics.
History to you.
Yeah.
All right, Annie Hall. I never saw Annie Hall, and it beat out Star Wars for Best Picture. The rise of the action-adventure blockbuster was on the horizon, but on this night in 1978, the small-scale romantic comedy triumphs over the big-budget space extravaganza at the 50th Annual Academy Awards. Annie Hall was seen as a major turning point for Woody Allen. Is that the Allen they're talking about there? I'm assuming.
Yeah. He was this is where it says writer, director, and star Woody Allen.
All right, there we go. Who made his debut as a triple threat. Writer, director, and star. And with in Annie Hall, Allen blended uproarious comedy with the offbeat and thought-provoking musings on love and relationships that had previously been the stuff of his stand-up comedy and written essays. I never saw it. Are you Woody Allen? Did you ever get into Woody Allen?
Not really. I'm definitely more of the Star Wars person in this one.
Yeah, it's funny. You look back at it and go, oh, well, was there an Annie Hall 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8?
Yeah, exactly.
Good morning, Todd T., Ruben, Ramon, Alexander, Isham. How you doing, buddy? All right, and I think that might be about it.
I thought that was a Mattress Firm advertisement. There was one that you just clicked away from, and it was for like a furniture store, but it looks like Mattress Firm.
And all right, that is good for on this day today. We'll move on with the stuff you should know. And like I said, Chris McCarty will be joining us here shortly. I feel like there was something else. Oh, that's right. Oh, quote of the day.
Yep.
Let's get to the quote of the day.
Okay. Either I will find a way or I will make one.
I love it.
Philip Sidney.
And for whatever reason, my stuff is still updating. And so I won't be able to show you my dog videos this morning. I know, you're all so bummed.
I'm bummed that Cords isn't up here.
Yeah. He must have something.
Oh, I'm sure.
He must have something. And what she's referencing is that Cords, who is the owner of Bake More Pies here, the
founder and president.
He runs everything. Yeah, the president. He runs everything. We started doing some trivia back and forth. It started with a spelling bee, and then how guys can get a little bit competitive and like, well, maybe we'll just do this every Tuesday then, Trivia Tuesday. So we were going to have that first one now, but that's I'm not trying to punk him or anything, but maybe the anxiety is just a little overwhelming today, and he doesn't want to come in and lose again and feel like, man, what am I doing? Starts questioning everything. Give me one question.
Name the world's biggest island.
The world's biggest island is Australia.
Incorrect. It's Greenland.
Greenland? So Australia is not considered an island? I guess not. Or maybe it's... Damn it. All right, what's another question?
What country is Prague in?
Prague is in... wait, there is no Yugoslavia anymore, is there? Romania.
Nope, Czech Republic.
Son of a...
Cords
would have gotten both of those right. And if you would have given me a second shot on that first one, I would have got it right. I'll say Prague's in the Czech Republic. The biggest island is Greenland.
Which is the only American state to begin with the letter P?
Pennsylvania.
You got it. There you go.
All right. I don't want two more.
What's the diameter of the Earth?
The diameter of the Earth.
It's like it's going to be something between 1,000 miles and 10,000 miles, but it's just like one of those even number, like one of the like 000 numbers. So
okay, I don't have to get down to the inches.
No.
Right. The circumference is something like 24,000 miles or something like that.
What's up?
Chris. Hey, what's the diameter of the Earth? Do you know?
If he knows, then I'm gonna freak out.
The diameter?
Let's see if it's if I know the circumference, can I figure out?
Give me 3 answers.
I just told him, so it's
Somewhere
between 1,000 and 10,000 miles.
All right,
but
scoot
it's
over to
in
the corner there and grab the
like,
microphone.
It's one of the like 000. So like it's gonna be one of those between 1,000 and 10,000, and it's gonna be like a flat number. So you gotta just like pick which one you think it is.
All right, so we're just guessing then.
All right, 6,000.
We're just guessing.
6,000
You can sit on the corner of that. You can get on that couch. No, it's not in frame. We won't. Only that corner's in frame. Are you sure? All right.
His guess was 6,000. What's your guess?
I'm gonna guess 4,000.
I thought you were going to go 5,999.
Wrong. 8,000.
8,000.
8,000.
All right, 8,000 miles. Elliot guessed 6,000 himself. Australia is considered a continent,
Yeah.
not an island.
Yes.
My bad.
The island of Australia. Doesn't that just sound funny though, man? Come on.
Well, if you got
it's
the
a
question,
body surrounded by water, so I do understand.
right? If you were to get the question, what is the world's largest island? What would you guess? Australia wouldn't be one that would even be on the list. You're like, no, I know that's not considered. Okay, well, you're just smarter than me.
I'm not smarter than you. I just happen to know that it's not an island.
You just happen to know how ridiculous that is.
What is that's a great question. I'm just scanning in my head right now what I think it could be.
All right.
Just give me a moment. I'll come
No,
back to you.
I'm leaving the camera right on you. We're going to make this. I'm going to start. Why don't you think out loud?
Yeah, I wish I got, man. Is it something obvious?
Yeah, once you hear you.
Like,
yeah.
It's not like some hidden country.
Right.
It's like
Scotland Island.
It's not Atlantis.
It's not Jamaica, not Dominican Republic,
Not even close.
Okay. Go ahead. What is it?
Greenland. Wouldn't even thought of it.
No.
you were like Scotland, Ireland. I was waiting
going
for
up
it.
there, and I was like, wait, yeah, Greenland. That's a good one.
And from what I understand, I think the legend goes, if I don't know if it's a true story, Elliot can verify, but I believe Greenland and Iceland.
I know Greenland. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I believe Greenland and Iceland are named that way to throw people off back in the day. Because
They're opposite.
Yeah, they're opposite. Where Iceland is actually green and whatever, and Greenland is nothing but ice, and it was supposed to throw people off. It's just semantics, technically.
And what's the capital of
Greenland?
Greenland.
Icelandia.
And Iceland.
I don't know. Well, welcome in, man.
Thanks, man.
All right. Well, speaking of islands, you and I have a discussion to get to.
I know.
All right. Well, we have a discussion to get to this morning, and that is about the island of Hawaii.
Hawaii is awesome.
All right. So you had a discussion with some natives and saying that I'm a little off on my history when it comes to that island, that area.
Yes.
Oh, you got to pull out your
Well, I don't want to
your text message.
anything. With
you
the
get it
history
right?
lesson, I'm not a history buff.
So
I play music. So
thank you, Sam. All right. Chris, you can stay on the couch if you want. You do whatever you want. But you have free reign to go back and forth. You have free reign to go back and forth. That camera today is sitting on a table, and we don't have a lot of good light over there.
Oh, so you want to go over there? I'll go over
yeah,
there.
if you could. Cool. I mean, if you don't mind.
Nah, it's all good.
And then let me.
Change it up.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Let me put some more light on him too.
So they said that the Polynesians came and colonized the native Hawaiians, and that is primarily who is fighting now for sovereignty from Americans. So it wasn't just Hawaiians and Hawaiians fighting each other like Fish had said the other day. It's not that. So that's what happened. So that's the fun fact.
I will clarify what I said. So here is my understanding.
He was
of
talking.
Hawaii.
His main point, I think, was the hypocrites. That was like your big deal, which is awesome.
Well, it's not. No. I didn't want to call them hypocrites because in the end, we're all going to be hypocrites in this category because we just don't have enough of our history. We go back to like this one place and then want to correct everything from that point forward.
True, man. It's so true.
But if we go back to the beginning, we go, oh, we get it. I understand. Hug. Now let's move forward instead of this constant fighting of I'm not where I should be because of things that happened, in the past and this and this and this and this. So here's my understanding of the history of Hawaii. And this was stemming from a conversation because there are those, and I don't know if it's once a year where it's, on a date that you'll see them in the news and they're in traditional, some heritage, garb and warrior, that kind of thing. And one of the points we're trying to get across is not wanting to lose their heritage. It's been Americanized enough and, and the fight to hold on to that. And so I said, well, the funny thing is that those people wanting to hold on to their heritage, displaced people, and I can't remember how many hundreds of years ago it goes back, but displaced people that were not warriors, that were peaceful people in Hawaii. And according to the records that we have, the fossil records, it looked like there was 1,000 years of no conflict, 1,000 years of no war between all of those islands, each one of those islands having their own chief and people just getting along. And then it was the Polynesians that came up from the, South Pacific there, and they were a warring tribe, and believed that I can't remember if it was when you ate their heart or if you just defeated another chief, you got their power, and this and this and this. And that's where the warriors of the modern day Hawaii came from. So that's the way I understood the history of it. I didn't say it was Hawaiians beating up Hawaiians. It was the Tahitians, the Polynesians that came up from the South Pacific that then displaced the peaceful Hawaiians of the time. And now the descendants of those Hawaiians are saying, hey, don't displace us. And so I'm like, man, if we can just put it on, you'd get it and just go, oh, okay, here's where we are in history. Love you. Now let's move forward because there's no going back. We can slow down time. We can speed it up, but there's no stopping it and there's no going back.
Man, you are on one today, brother. Let me tell you, I'm sitting here like, amen. Preach, brother, preach. Come on, Fish.
All right.
Hi, Chris.
So now that's the way I understood the history of Hawaii. But I got a text from Chris yesterday, and you had a conversation going, no, that's not really the way.
They actually responded on the feed, the comment. And then that's what made me hit them up, and then, so you could see it in there. So they were like, "Oh, the Polynesians." They were just trying to. They're like, "Oh, they love the fact that you've been bringing history lessons up."
Even if they're wrong.
I love that too, by the way.
Even if they're wrong?
Even if they're a little off? No, but I love that. I love the fact that you've been, today in history, this happened. I just love that. I think history's great. So, and there's other people just being like, appreciating that fact and adding to it.
All right. Well, Chris, while you're here today, let's get into some of the issues of the day, some of the stuff you should know. And, of course, tangents are always welcome on the Wake.Show. So we'll keep an eye on the comment section because they help us get off on tangents, and we really appreciate that. Yes. So do you know that Facebook has a political profile? Well, they have a profile on you on your the way you're going to react to certain things. You can find right now, you can open up your phone and find out what Facebook says about you politically. What do you think they say about you politically?
Me?
Yeah, here we go. Here's the story coming out of ABC Action News.
A radical.
A radical. Well, maybe. So you're thinking when you pull it up, you're going to see. I can't. We'll go over the categories here in a second. The categories. Let me see here. Are very liberal, moderate, conservative, or very conservative. Those are the categories. So pull out your phone.
This should be good because I really don't post any kind of personal thing. And so I'm curious to hear what this is.
All right, you got your phone?
I'm on my phone.
So you're going to go to your settings.
Okay. Are you on your fan page or are you on your personal page?
I'm on my personal page. Well, I'm on the personal page, and then we push it out through the fan page and stuff like that. I did it. I did this through my laptop, so I already know what it says about me.
Okay, settings. Now what?
All right. Well, I want to walk this. I'll walk through you on with this through you on my phone as well, because I haven't done it on my phone. I want to make sure when it says go to your settings, does that mean I'm all right? So I'm in settings. Then you want to go to account settings.
WAP.
You see account settings?
Yeah, I just hit it.
Where's account settings?
That's what WAP meant. Oh no, not those settings, homie.
Oh, go
I was
into my
I was
Facebook.
into Facebook. Yeah, man.
Oh, go into my Facebook app first. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sorry. That's why I wanted to do this with you, because I have a feeling I was going to mess it
Hey,
up.
man, we're together in this, brother. Because
All right.
I don't know what I'm doing half the time on these things.
All right, so now here, go to settings, right? And that's at the
Mine's
bottom.
still loading, so I don't know. It's been loading for a while.
And then account settings. All right, I'm in. I'm into mine.
I'm definitely not. And I am AT&T. Who are you?
Are you not logged into the Wi-Fi here?
No.
Oh, really? We have.
to
we
the
have.
Wi-Fi.
I
Of a friend.
got. You got to log into the Wi-Fi here.
Okay.
Yeah. Is your Wi-Fi on?
New.
Okay, turn your Wi-Fi on, because I would imagine you've probably logged in
Yeah,
there
I'm
before.
pretty sure.
And for those of you too, we're obviously going to go through this so you can find out, because there's more than just your political leanings that they keep track of. You'll see once you get in here.
All right. I'm in. All right. So now with general security, all that stuff.
Okay, so now we go to ads from here. Go to ads, it's towards the bottom. Then click on your information.
Did you watch the game last night?
No,
talk about
I don't even know who won.
Great. We can talk about the person who does and the person who doesn't. And we can talk about why you don't know that. Ads are not pulling up. You're.
All right, so clicked on ads, then your information.
It's not pulling up. Are your letters in all black when you saw that? Because mine are all black.
See, here's
All right, hang on.
that part there.
Whoa.
And then at the bottom, you click ads. Whoops, I just clicked that
Settings,
apps.
account settings.
And then your information.
Sorry, everybody. I know this is boring to you. Okay, here we go. Now, ads. Okay, yeah, that was way different looking. Okay.
Now click on your information.
Your information. Your intro. Oh, okay.
Now it says review and manage your categories.
Your categories.
Your information. All right. Okay, your categories. I see it there. Okay, right there at the very bottom. So click on that. Oh, so then this is where all the stuff pops up. So I get a birthday in August. I'm close to friends of expats. I'm close friends of men with a birthday in the next 7 to 30 days. So then you scroll down.
Expats. What's that?
People who are living abroad, Americans who are living abroad, expatriates. So they have residency in another country as well, but I don't know how that works. So U.S. politics, scroll down towards the bottom there. Mine says moderate. What's yours say?
Moderate.
See? You're not as liberal as you think you are.
What do you mean?
You said activist out there, and
I said rational.
oh, I thought you said activist.
No,
you said rational.
Yeah.
There you go, right down the middle. Moderate. You're rational. You're rational.
I said I was a radical.
Oh, a radical. Well, yeah, because I guess you could be on either wing. In order to be a radical, you could be on either wing.
But what is moderate? That's so open-ended. It's so vague. Moderate? What does that mean?
Well, that means in some issues you will take a more conservative, traditional position. On some issues, you'll take a more liberal, progressive.
I'm sorry. That's every single person you talked about on the planet.
I agree with you. That's why. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing the show the way I'm doing the show.
Lead and bring these people to this whole Facebook maze to get to a spot with something we already. Thanks, dude. Like, dude, yours says you're conservative.
Deidre, are you conservative?
All right.
Conservative?
We just changed. I apologize first.
I would be more moderate.
All right.
I think she'd be more moderate. We're best friends, man. Like, she's not. No, dude.
Does it surprise me though? No, because is she your business partner, or she's a partner in some sense, right?
She's a business
She helps.
partner and best friend, and she's.
So she would that would
Yeah.
make sense to me that person would be in your life, and they would be a little bit more conservative because because you are radical.
Do you think I'm conservative?
I would say you're more conservative than not.
She said I'm more conservative than not.
So you're moderate. You would like to be, but you are.
She said I would like to not be, but
But here's the thing, this I hate. You know how I hate this discussion, because then as soon as we go down that road, then you and I, the first thing that we have to do is is admit that the world is either this or that. It's either conservative or liberal.
No, I think it's a little bit of everything.
Right.
It's just a rainbow, bro. Sometimes there's some things I'm liberal about, like I'm just what it is. We are all hypocrites, man. We are all a world of hypocrites. We change the rules. We love to see,
but we don't even know it. We don't even know we're hypocrites.
Yeah, I mean,
because
it's as simple as this. It's so hypocritical, and it's like the guy who's like Googling over like ladies in G-strings, but like you wouldn't want your daughter in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, then that's hypocritical, dude. Like, you go so far. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, well, it's okay here, but not here. Like, just we're a nation of hypocrites. So some things and whatever we're feeling on that day, well, we're so judgmental, and so that's the problem.
And also, I think when you go down that path, if we want to keep it in one lane, if you want to keep it like in politics, then conservatism and liberalism is very simple to me. Those who are more conservative want less government, less money going to the government, and less government interference in anything. You know, the fewer regulations, And so on the liberal side of things, they want more centralized control to make sure that everybody's or try to make sure everybody's on the same page, regulate things and this and this and this. So to me, that's very simple. There we go. And that's
I like them both.
But
I like them both.
But the thing is that as soon as you throw that stuff out there, then other people, because people attach conservative to themselves or liberal to themselves, and they mean it in a very different way. Mm-hmm. And so you start talking about certain things
just
and
like
go,
God.
right, exactly. And it's relative. It's relative. Everything is effing relative.
Yep.
And then people get angry when you say that because they're trying to argue that the world is black and white and that there is a right and a wrong, a yes and a no,
but you know
a
why
this
that
and a
is?
that.
But you know why that is?
Why, Chris?
I believe it's because they, in some ways, have lack of control of themselves and the reality that, you're gonna pass away. And so to get angry at someone who has a different thought of you based on their parents, for the most part, I feel like people, their beliefs are what their parents taught them. So it's not really even their beliefs for the most part.
Our primary caregivers are huge influences on our lives.
Gods of our lives.
But that doesn't mean you follow, because I think you can watch a family of children and you'll see the same upbringing, and one kid break one way, one other kid break another way.
Yeah, but we still end up just like our parents, dude. We do, in ways. We end up just like our parents.
In some ways, yes.
When you become
but we are
not our
parents.
When you become we are not. But when you become a parent, you start being like, oh my God, I might sound just like my dad. Like, it's wild. It creeps up on you. So
it becomes very apparent when you become a parent.
Yes. And so I feel like when you see people who get upset about that and who they are on my side, it's a wanting to belong, wanting to connect, wanting to matter, and so if it's like they need someone to believe in what they're believing in, so then okay, if you believe in what, and it's a weird lack of just self-control and cool.
Well, I think you're onto something there when it comes to, like, for me, because I don't understand those people that are wingers, how it is they can't go, oh, cool, man, you believe that? Good for you. I hope that works out for you. But
exactly,
this is the way I believe things. It's the way I'm going to live my life.
Right.
The way I'm going to raise my children. I think this is the right way.
Like, the question is, why do you need someone to believe what you believe in? Even if you just met them for 2 seconds, why do you need that? That's what people are not asking themselves that question.
Because I think those people are not as, and this is where I think you're onto something, as certain about their beliefs as they think they are.
Agreed.
They're very certain about their beliefs when they're around people who think like them, but as soon as those other people come in, they can't.
Because
they lack the confidence.
You challenge what they've come to believe and learn in life, and if they find out that they've been living a lie, people can't handle that. That's why some people can't handle the truth, the real truth. So they try to bend it and get angry because if I'm wrong, what does that say about my life? And can people handle that?
That's why I've seen it. That's why I don't want to convince other people that whatever it was they've believed or known all their lives is wrong or different or not what they thought it was, because I have a feeling that's holding some people together.
I mean, you got to remember, on top of that, like, you remember the people in my family and what they do. Like, I've had a bird's eye view of things that would scare other people that are scary in and of itself, but I've had a bird's eye view that's like been very freeing of, what I think about life and how it goes and what you're supposed to be doing and things of that nature. I mean, I don't get mad at people for what they think. Like, why? It's not my business to know what you're thinking.
Chris, I need to learn the screenshot function, so every time I go read the comments, I think there's just a button I can hit and it'll bring it up so everybody can see it, you know. But I guess if you're watching on Facebook, you've already seen the comments. Going back to the moderate thing in Facebook, Elliot says moderate probably means they just don't have enough info on you yet to decide.
My God, I like that.
It just means that
And it's funny because, you know, if you go on my Facebook, there's probably one thing that I've ever actually really posted on that. Just for like, because I didn't, you know, I have the fan page, and you've got like your personal page, and you have to have a personal page to have a fan page. So I don't even ever use. So that's why I thought it was like moderate, like really. But good job, brother.
And if you go back,
smart.
If you go back to my feed over the last couple of years, you don't see anything. You don't see anything except for food porn. Doggy, you know, pictures of my dog and my wife, and that's about it.
Right.
And
moderate.
Well, one of the once Trump. Well, the thing is, the politics of, but even before Trump, you know, came into things, you know, politics had gotten really hot, you know, with Obama. And with Bush and with, I guess it goes back. I guess it's been hot for a while.
Always hot.
And so I kind of took a poker player's approach, or my approach to poker, and that is when something's hot, you do the opposite. So when everybody's in, jamming the pot and going at it, you're like, all right, I'm going to sit back and watch this play out a little bit. When things die down a little bit, then I'll get in and and stir things up a little bit. So, but things stayed so high, you know, so elevated for so long that if you go back to my feet, and the thing is that there was also this thing in my head, Chris, because I'm also on the radio, and part of that time doing AM talk radio, and people are all having these opinions about Trump and Clinton, and I'm trying to, you know, bring down the temperature in the room a little bit, but then they're going, no, you can't be that guy on the radio. If you're going to get on and talk about something, you got to have an opinion. You just can't sit there and go, come on, guys, everything's going to be okay. Let's just calm down.
But you can.
Well, you have to.
That's an option, and you chose that option.
Well,
they didn't want you to do that option because that would stop them from what they're trying to get across, was their point, because they wanted everyone to agree with what they think. Because they are a god in their own way, and I get it, but of course they needed you to stop doing that.
And when most people are not going to consider themselves extreme anything. If they have their beliefs, not too many people.
I'm extreme.
Have the awareness as Chris and I do, knowing that we're out there. But most people are going to think that they are mainstream, again, because in their communities and their worlds, between their friends and their families and the stuff they read and the shows they associate with, they are going to go, no, this is mainstream. This is the way everybody I know thinks.
Exactly.
Yeah, we consider ourselves liberal, we consider ourselves conservative, but we're not out there. And but because if you saw it from their point of view, if you walked a mile in their shoes, I think you would go, okay, I see how they.
Yep. And that's the thing, man. It's like, if you look at people, you put anyone in any circumstance, we're sponges, man. And so if you put someone in this and that, you're going to produce that. And so it's to understand that, and to love that, and love where you are, and love that, and love the difference, and love it. Like, man, that's cool. You're something else. That's great. Let me see something else. Let me see something else. Let me see something, because I'm gonna die one day. I want to get it all. I want to go to. When I was in Hawaii, I'm with Hawaiians, and it's great to just see, you know, people of the Hawaiians and just their culture and how they are and how they respect, and it's just, you know. And then you go to Liverpool and you just see people singing all the time, I just want it all. I want to see as many differences as you can in life. And
Chris, do you think it's right around the corner? Do you think listen, there would never be a perfect world. There never, you know, that kumbaya. I was going to ask you, do you think there'll be that kumbaya moment where we humans, because of the knowledge that is being unveiled and the discoveries of our time, sometime in the next decade or 10 decades, go, oh my gosh, we are all one. We all need to look at each other very differently, not as resources to capitalize on and to make sure that I keep you down so I can elevate myself and blah, blah, blah.
Well, you know what the answer for me would naturally be? Of course. Why else am I doing what I'm doing? Right. Why else are you doing what you're doing?
10 years, somewhere between 10 years and 10 generations.
Let's not put an even number on it, man. Like, hey, listen, at some point it's going to happen. And if we if we are able to come back in reincarnation, which I'm a believer of that, and millions other are too, Oprah being one of them. Just throwing that out there. So she may be the president one day. Maybe the president. She may be the most powerful person at one point. But anyways, at some point, if you believe that, then maybe we can come back in a time when things are like that, and we can really feel the level of heaven on earth, and really, man, it'd be fun, wouldn't it? And so, yeah, so I believe in that.
All right. So, but here, the way I see it, if there is that reincarnation, then you don't know where you came from. Kind of like, like right now, like stuff gets wiped clean, or certain party member gets wiped clean. They say that what I've come to learn, and follow with it. It's just part of a story. Enjoy it, feel. What I've come to learn is that you when you come back, you forget. So it's like, do this in remembrance of me. So this game is about remembering. Like, we know everything. Our soul knows everything. We know the difference of right and wrong. There's a voice that talks to us at all times, telling us maybe we should, maybe we should. It's just honoring that voice, because that's that truth. And so part of the game that we're here, and it's like, say it's a game, but you have your mind, and that's like flesh. You have your body, and that's flesh, and you have your soul. And so it's a matter of like finding that balance to, suit through this book that's your life, and you're in your chapter, and you're in your chapter, and then it's going to end how it's going to end. So yeah, that's part of the fun in recreating and creating who you want to be in this life, and you can really do that. But there's some rules and regulations, as we know. What goes around comes around. Like, we know common law, where like attracts like. So if you want an amazing person in your life, you must be said amazing person, and then you can attract that amazingness. It's a creating game. We all come from the same place, and it's that's what that I've come to understand, and I believe it. It fits something about my soul. When I hear that, something about me goes, yeah, that something makes sense, and I feel calm, and it's cool. I think that's what it is for most people. The religion, or the philosophy,
spirituality, thoughts, beliefs, whatever.
Because that one feels right. Yeah, what that person just said, or that thought, yeah, that's what feels right.
Right. Because we don't know, and there's so many people who are so scared. They think that there's hell, a burning fire, and I've been there. I actually thought that at one point too. There's so many people that believe that, but you don't know. So imagine.
Well, imagine the Pope.
Well, yeah, I love that.
You were in here, weren't you?
But I love that. I know what he's talking about. And so imagine you got 50 days left to live. Imagine, and you could you don't know what's going to happen afterwards. You could be like, I'm going to burn out. Well, what if I burn? What if I burn? Or you can go, I don't know. So I'm going to think I don't burn. You have a choice, man. You could choose to think that there's, or choose to not, but there's either way, whatever thought you think is going to dictate the way you end up living those last 50 days. And if it's me, I want to live those last 50 days to the highest, happiest I can. And that's without the fear of the unknown. We'll find out when you find out.
The fear for a lot of people is that if you take take the absolutes, the absolute rights and wrongs that were written down by God thousands of years ago, if you take that out of the equation and leave it up to people to either believe in something or not believe in something, the fear is that without the fear of ramifications, that fear of hell, that people would be worse rather than better. If that makes sense.
And then I'll say this to you, and this gets people kind of in a tiff, but they talk about the angel Lucifer, and that was God's favorite, and he loved Lucifer, and God needs the devil, and because the devil brings us back to God. So the temptation is oh God, please, I'll never do it again. God, please God. So, think about it, man.
So you believe in the God-devil dynamic?
I believe that there is 93% of the atmosphere in the universe they call dark matter. Scientists call dark matter 93%. So if 93%
it's closer to 96%.
Okay, cool. Even better. So if it's that high, then there must be darkness and dark times and things of that nature on this plane as well, that we exist on a little planet within all of that. So I do believe in some kind of yin and yang and some kind of push-pull. I do believe in that. I can see that. It kind of makes sense, that a dichotomy, up, down, left, right, hot, cold, the sun, the moon, boy, girl. And so because of that, yeah, I think there's something to be said by all of that.
There might be, but what scientists would say is that people like you and me, we take those little things like, we can only describe or explain about 4% of our universe as actual matter, and then everything else, 96 point something or somewhere right around 96%, is they either classify as dark energy or dark matter, and mostly dark energy. And but we can't. But they can't explain it. They can't see it. They can't. But it's something out there that's reacting like that. So for people like Chris and I mean that just sends our imagination. That's like giving us a blank canvas and then just kind of painting painting just one little swirl on there and then going, you got fill in the rest. Whoa, we sure will fill in the rest with our ignorance.
It's filled right there.
but that being said, I do
the devil though. The devil, yeah. So why not be something that would run that darkness thing?
Because I don't know if there's such a thing as absolute, meaning the absolute perfect God that we were raised with and the absolute perfect Satan, the equal and opposite.
No. I don't believe in that at all. I believe in you know what I mean?
No. What does that mean?
This is the God, universe God, like the light in the beginning. Hey, whoa, right? Why?
Wait, hold on. No, we got to break that down because there was some body language that I think.
Whoa.
So you're talking about you don't believe.
If I was God, I'd be doing this all day, son. I'm God. What?
so you don't see the universe as being in the beginning, before there was anything. There was this one God, and then that God decided to let's create everything.
I mean, I do.
Oh, you do see it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that God split himself up and made like other demigods and stuff. And then and I think that gods are not like humans. I think we are the only animal species that doesn't do what we're supposed to do all the time. Like every other animal does what they're designed to do. We're just
what if what I mean? What if this is our existence? This realm is supposed to be for those souls that want to test out free will.
No, I mean,
even though that free will might not even be a thing, you just you trick the soul a little bit. You put a little magic spell on it. And so it can't see that it doesn't have free will.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I think that okay. I feel like it's such a hard concept, and I'm gonna do my best to communicate this.
Okay.
In every moment, there's something happening. We've seen it in movies that tie, and there's something happening here, and then they all come together, right?
Right.
So you could say there's no free will. If someone shoots someone, there's going to be a reaction. So what if this whole thing is just alive, right? And it just keeps morphing. Like if you look outside at the beach.
You mean everything, like the universe and everything.
If you're looking at the beach and you're looking at the sunset and it just keeps changing. Like there's an artist out there just constantly just moving. So what if this whole thing, life, me, you, D, the dogs, everything, and they do something and this big thing just keeps changing. And so it's like a ever changing, like, so what you do matters. So imagine if you're in this thing called the all. And
all right, let's talk about the all. Let's talk about the all.
All right.
Because Chris, when you talk about the all ALL, right?
Yes.
I can visualize that.
The owl. Sorry. What's
That's
God's
funny.
name? Oh, Al.
Al. You can call me Al.
You call me Al. All the answers are in the Paul Simon song. There it is.
And this whole time, Paul Simon's been the angel Gabriel.
Yeah.
So the way when Chris starts talking about the all, I that's where I start to visualize what he's talking about and the way I was raised and so I start picturing the Holy Spirit and the all kind of being what you're talking about. And then so for my brain, the way that I see things, so I see like the Holy Spirit, the all, the original source, the universe, the purest original energy, the way, depending on the way people
all that
say,
sounds right.
I think in this moment we're talking about the same thing, right? Or
that feels right.
Well, I feel like we're all trying to describe something. And so continue with what is the all then? And how does God play? Does God come before the all? Does God come out of the all?
God is the all.
Okay, so God is the all and the universe, and God is everything?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. So that's why I feel like when I go back to saying that what we do matters, if we're all part of this ever evolving thing and we're all like a gear, small little bits of the all, we all create life. We all create things with our thoughts. Every person, everything you see has been created by someone's thought. Then they said that thought and shared it with someone. And then it became and became and became. We talked about thoughts congealing and shooting out in the energy. It's kind of like the time when, you know, you pick up your phone and someone just texts you like, man, I was just thinking about that person. That power, that energy. And the more you just accept it, the stronger you can become in it.
For those of you watching that are more into theoretical physics, isn't there a theory out there or a term out there for the possibility that thought has influence in the universe, even on the in the not mechanical not practical physics, I don't think, but I think in the quantum physics realm, I believe there is discussion about the effects of thought on the universe.
Right. And so then I think when you think more, and so again, I'm at like, so if there's free will, yeah. So what you do matters, yeah. So some things, but that means that there have to be some things that are destined. Because we talk about dichotomy, left, right, up, down, moon, no moon, yin, yang, free will in this space. But in that free will, there has to be something in the dichotomy that would almost happen. Like, I would say my brother's death. Now, this is a rough situation because I had conversations with people when I was in Hawaii, friends of his that, you know, they're like this. They question God. They are angry. I mean, he was really
been there.
Right, yeah. And so I said, but there's something that had to happen, something that I think had to happen. And they're, you know, as his best friend and twin soul brother, they were listening. Well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, for the last however many months or a month, no one rode their bikes at all. And there's so many people who are living totally
in fear because of that moment.
Well, yeah, there's a
which
woman
is very
sold her
understandable.
bike. I mean, yes, a woman sold her bike that had the same bike. These are the stories that are coming to me when I'm there. They didn't. People just stopped right, and it is a beautiful stretch. I mean, it's gorgeous, dude. We'll talk about freedom, but people stopped. You don't know that ripple effect. For me to go out there and then to fall like in love with his daughter, like, and then see my daughter and his daughter like talk FaceTime, which was trippy, and now have a best friend and his wife, like the way we just are interacting like constantly, and just now my, you know, just my spirit and just living from, you know, for everything, it's just different, and I feel like that's happened. And so when I look at a life like his, and I mean, I would do anything to have him back. Trust, don't believe I would do anything to have him back.
Chris,
I can see I can see, man, it almost makes sense, and it's crazy to say that, but it does.
Do you ever explore that you know, because you and I we don't think we're crazy. We don't think we're crazy. We know relative to other people, sometimes we can come off at a little, I like to call it out there.
I'm nuts.
All right.
Not crazy. I'm nuts. Like, nuts is whoo, but positive and like on it. What's up?
Okay.
But crazy
like
is like,
that.
yo, that crazy cat might scratch you, dog. A nutty cat just gonna run around and be just entertaining himself, like you laughing at him. It's, you know, that's me. I'm
I always say there is the good kind of crazy and then the crazy kind of crazy.
Right. So nutty and crazy. There you go. So we're nutty. I like that. Nutty dudes.
Because you know, the professionals in the mental health world will say, for those of us that, you know, connect these kinds of dots and say this is connected to that, and I can see it and I can feel it, and they'll say, well, you're somewhere on the spectrum of either, you know, bipolar through schizophrenia. Do you ever entertain the thought that the reality might be that our brains are just wired just a little bit differently, so we pick up on things and it seems like it makes sense, seems like it tells a story, but it's just all coincidence? So
I'll tell you this, man. I was told by there was a moment we had thing go down, and one of the spiritualists gave a little reading, and it was said that everyone comes down, they forget things. He said that I actually remember some things. That's just what he said to me.
So is this a shaman? Okay.
And so when I think about that, and I think about heaven, right? They say that heaven's on earth. I feel like,
well, who's they? Some people say heaven is not on this earth.
There are some people. There are some who say, and those who say, I look at it like this, man. What if in heaven everyone's just nice, right? They smile at people, they, hey, little kid, and they cheer on people, and just pleasant people. They, you come in contact, hey, like I'm in heaven, like yeah, cool, like music and
no strife, no conflict,
none of that.
Okay, so that's what heaven is.
That's like, they say it's like a grain. Well, this book I was reading talk about like the Abel is like the size of a grain of a sand in the whole universe, and it just resides here on this earth. It has nothing to do with what is really going on, which is crazy love. And so when you think in terms like that, and you think about life, right? So what if you were to just act like this, just maybe I have to act like it's heaven and treat everyone as if I really am on heaven to get to heaven. What if you do that? What if, imagine
that's
if
being the change.
And so I ask you, Chris, like you see me, man, sometimes like I'm nice to everybody. Like we have it in us of course we have to handle business when people start getting rowdy and get stupid, and that's just part
I beat some muff down in my day, but
well, but
I was really nice about it.
Right, but you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like what if you can create your life to be heaven like that? And what would you see? Because I don't see the stuff on the news. I've never seen any. I've seen a couple of crazy accidents I was involved in that, oh my God, people, blood and whatnot. But as far as like, robbery here, and I've never seen any of that. So don't even take a bite out of the news. If you want to be happy, your life is short, dude. You watch things, it comes into you. So if you watch scary, fearful things, it becomes you. You age. This is just what it is. People ask me, why you look so young? Because there are certain things I just do.
Because you do nothing but watch children's shows.
I was just about to say.
I only watch cartoons.
And why we're nutty. And nutty dudes sitting up there talking about what was it? Disney versus Pixar.
Disney versus Pixar.
Nutty dudes. Yeah. I feel like that's, and think about it, but I'm a happy dude. You're a happy dude. People like us. Why? Because we're just nice dudes.
Well, I can flip a switch though.
Of course,
you're a
human being, and so am I. And
I can be a jerk in a second.
Yes, and I think that part of those moments, you get to look back and reflect on yourself and ask yourself, all right, if so-and-so was here, if my grandmother's here, would I have said that? If my daughter was here, would I have said that? If my so-and-so was here, would I have said that? Would I talk about, like, you know what I mean? And just self-evaluation.
That's why I cuss in front of my grandmother and my nieces and nephews.
You're like, just going to get this out the way right away.
I don't want to be a hypocrite.
Right. I mean, I don't know. But that's also another place. That's a respect place. Am I in your house? You're older. I respect my elders. I'll just, you know what I mean? You're talking about, wow, you do the ferret look like what?
Were you pointing at me when you're talking about your elders?
No, not you. You said your grandmother. And it's actually a meerkat that you did.
Who the hell is he talking about? Is he talking about me?
No, I'm just talking about elders in general. Like, if you say, it's why I cursed in front of my grandmother. I'm like, yeah, well,
I didn't. I was just kidding. I did not cuss.
Good.
I don't watch my mouth, or I hardly watch my mouth around my nieces and nephews.
How old are they?
They're all young. The oldest one is 13. Then it's like 11, 9, 8, 7, 6. I don't know, something.
Wait, you curse in front of the 6-year-olds?
Yeah.
You are not watching my kids.
Why? They know when to. They're very bright kids. They know when to use the language and not to use the language. Actually, I don't ever hear them use that language around us. We all.
Does everybody?
Yes, everybody.
Oh, well then, never mind.
Everybody.
If that's the culture, then I'm not saying anything at all.
Oh my God, it was so funny, Chris.
That's awesome.
Well, no, we can talk about it if you don't.
No, we weren't allowed to say fart. I wasn't allowed to say, "Oh, my butt hurts." Like, dude, oh.
We couldn't say fart
conservative, moderate. Yeah.
My mom, it would drive us insane. Because my mom would say fluff. Who fluffed? Who fluffed? Nobody fluffed. Mom, say toot if anything. Come on. I don't know what fluff is. Nobody fluffed.
You fluff my pillows. I don't want you fluffing my pillows.
But
I'm sorry.
It was we were at a wedding a few weeks ago, and my niece, one of my nieces, 8 years old, sitting there with her parents, and then this is just when Uncle Chris is being provocative. I asked her, I go, what's the worst thing or the worst word you ever heard your mommy or daddy say? And she goes, she didn't even skip a beat, and her parents are sitting right there.
Oh, man.
She goes, I heard my mom say.
Oh man!
I heard my mom say "fucking bitch."
Oh. I should play this game with my kids. Hey, what's the thing your mom said?
Yeah.
Just want to know.
Be surprised. You were not going to get in trouble for whatever you say. Just go.
Be in trouble. What did your mom say?
But you have to record it.
I am going to record.
You have to record. You have to record that moment though.
And then what do your daddy say? You probably can't hear anything. I don't curse in front of my baby. They're still so innocent to me.
So the way I look at it is, and again, to each his own. Okay, to each his own. You raise your kids the way you're gonna raise your kids.
Hey, man, I'm not here to judge, brother. Right. I get judged every day.
So the way I kind of see things is, I don't know that we are doing the best for our children. We have a tendency, and I don't know if it's like this around the world or just America, to overprotect our children and try to raise our children to be children. And I want to not force them into the fire right out of the box, but as things come along, just let them take it in, and then we can deal with it as we go along. So they'll learn, because otherwise we're being hypocrites when you say, "Oh, you're going to grow up and not cuss like me. You're going to grow up and not do this like me."
And this is what I was talking about earlier when I said we end up being just like our parents. Like, I curse like sailor, right? But I don't in front of the kids, and I don't really know how I'm going to respond if they curse, because I'm like, well, because I'm thinking they shouldn't curse, but I'm really just feeling my mom and dad what they said. But I did it, so I feel what you're saying, and that's what I mean. Dude, we end up like our parents.
So, well, I don't know about that. I know we end up a lot like them.
Yes.
We can end up a lot like them. But
yes,
I don't
dude,
think
it's genetic DNA, bro. We cannot help it. You are the amalgamation of all your ancestors in your blood, all of them. That's what the ascension is.
So I don't have any choices then. We're back to I don't have any free will.
We're just talking about how your character is. Certain things that you may be accustomed to. Certain things you may you can get sick. Whatever it may be that your family lineage, your heritage has. Like,
right.
Right. I'm just saying
like we're prone to whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. Exactly. So thank you. I don't know why I was prone. But I feel like that's what we're talking about, not so much on the choices. On the choices aspect, like, no, dude, you can choose to get up and not do anything that day, but something's going to change on the other end. It's the all doesn't necessarily mean just now. The future is now.
All right.
The future is
now. I feel like you're gonna have to pass over your medicine if you keep going down this path.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, look, dude, you don't know what I'm saying. Okay.
What are you trying to say in that moment? That everything is happening right now?
Yes, you're talking about free will. You're saying that we have no free will.
I don't know. It's on the table for me. It's on the table.
You said, so therefore I'm like, no, I'm saying we do. And I said, if you don't do anything, if you get up and do nothing, something else at the same time is happening because of your lack of action. Something else is going to be happening. It's opposite reaction. Everything happens. And so we're saying is like, if I go today and go run 2 miles, in 2 days, I'm going to feel the effects of those 2 miles I did today. So if I don't do anything in 2 days, there's going to be an effect. There's always an effect. Something's always moving. So you have a choice to not or do.
There's something that's supposed to happen.
There's always a choice, but there's always a reaction to our choices. Even if not choosing to do something is still choosing to do something.
All right, we're going to go to the comment section for a second. Ready?
Did I help that?
Okay, so here's what I think you're saying.
Sorry, I threw everybody
something
off.
Basically is supposed to happen at that moment or any moment. And if you choose not to play your part in that moment, you'll still be forced to play that part in some way.
You're still playing a part is what I'm saying. So you are still choosing to play a part.
Okay.
If a car rolls over and then you can choose to go help or stand on the side, you're still making a choice. But you could go in there and let's say
that's why I think sometimes we confuse reaction with choice.
I mean, and I know what you mean, but it's still a choice.
All right.
It's still a choice. Like a reaction, you're reacting, but I'm telling you can keep going, you can not going. We all know this. Like, think about it. Just watch all day. Do you choose? You'll choose. I choose to not change the lane. Just choose to stay in the lane. Choose to choose, man. Everything is a choice, dude. Well, the smallest, the biggest. Look for them all.
But not in that moment.
What do you mean not in that moment?
That choice that was made in that moment was a choice that was made long before that moment, up here, and in the way that we've structured ourselves, disciplined ourselves, been disciplined, been taught.
Yes, you are correct.
So that moment, like the reason I say it's not a choice, Chris, is because I could take me and your closest brothers, your closest friends, and we can sit in there and follow you for a week. And everything that you do, I could press pause, right? Something's about to happen. Press pause. How is Chris going to react in this moment? And I guarantee you, with a great degree of accuracy, upward north of 70%, we could call every one of your shots from every moment over the next, 70% of your shots. Choices over the next week. Boop,
based on what?
Based on what we already think we know about you.
Based on my patterns.
And past
and my
behavior.
patterns are my choices in those said actions that you're speaking of. So that's my pattern why you would say, boom, we think he's going to do that.
All right. Okay. Well,
so that's what I'm saying. Whatever I did 2 months ago is going to work. And then that's a reputation versus character. So that's just your character is that. And so people speak of your reputation of like, man, he's got good character. So, of course, it's just like the other day when Sam read that quote. And at the same time, you both say, that sounds like something Chris would say. That's based on how I've been through day after day with a choice of just choosing to be happy, choosing to be shitty, choosing. I mean, it's just a choice.
That quote was something to the effect of, I believe, we have all the light we need to shine within us, or something like that. We just have to let it out, or one of those things. Whatever that was.
Yes.
So,
awesome.
Elliot,
Thanks again for that.
Elliot, listening to you and I talk about this kind of stuff and whether the soul is perpetual and this whatever. He says this is unfortunately seems like wishful hypothesizing by a species that is terrified of death.
Boom. Thank you.
And this comes back to what I know this is what you think of a lot, and I think of a lot, dude. And that is a lot of what drives everything that we do is this ultimate fear of the unknown of what death is.
So how many times do people criticize me for speaking openly of death, and they want to label me as morbid? It's the same kind of dismissive thing where I'm saying, wait, it's a fact of life, and when you acknowledge the fact, you might be able to breathe a little easier, but you're also working a little harder because you know that could end.
Because you and I had,
you're right, man. When you can feel, like, if we get over that fear, like over our fears of, like, that's the big name of the game, it's freedom. So if you can fear yourself of the fear of death, and the way you do it is like you get over your own things by acknowledging,
and then you can live,
and then you can live so
life.
Acknowledge what's wrong with you, and you acknowledge that you're gonna die. Like, own it. Like, you know what, one day I am. And then the more you talk about it openly, the less scared it comes.
I agree with you.
And so then you don't fall into the category of like, I'm gonna wallow in no, you know what I'm saying.
But you do get why people can't perceive you like that sometimes.
Of course,
the same thing happens to me.
Because they're
Here's
scared.
why. Let me set it up for you, Chris. Most people, because if you and I are right, and a lot of what drives our desires and our fears is this ultimate fear of death. We've all of our peers and our ancestors and everybody around us, most people around us, have created those psychological mazes and walls so that they can navigate their day. And so when they get together and they start chattering, so here's what I want you to visualize. They're all getting together and they're talking about what happened on The Bachelor last night, and they're laughing and they're relating to this character and joking about that character. Well, you and I walk in and what? And in our heads, let's say we don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
Because that'll be a completely different discussion and a tangent. But we come in, and it's like, hey, everybody, da-da-da-da-da. And they throw out something, goes, yeah, and then all of a sudden we change that conversation about everybody's ultimate demise. We've changed the energy in the room. Now, you and I,
all the time.
You and I believe that that's good, that we need to do that, from time to time. But we also have to be careful with that because people aren't prepared for it. People aren't ready for it.
I don't necessarily think that you and I think we need to do it. I think it just naturally happens because that's just who we are.
Right. You're right.
That's just what it is.
It wasn't a choice. It just happened.
No, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, I can choose to speak or choose to not speak. But if they're going to bring something up, I'm just have a choice to speak of what I think and speak my truth. And sometimes the truth is charismatically spoken. It gets people to be like, hey, and that's great, man. Like, let's simmer down.
So that's why I think, I know that I just got very fascinated. I guess I am still fascinated with death to a certain degree. I just, I catch myself now to make sure that I'm not the guy trying to bring the conversation back to our ultimate demise.
Yeah. And I think I know what you mean by that. And again, it's like anything. It's still truth talk. And some people need like small doses of truth. It's like, people, the whole coming out the closet, like that, whoa, like that truth, and that truth shatters and changes worlds. I went to this church in Atlanta, man, and this dude, it was basically you would say a open church, predominantly
Non-denominational.
Yeah, predominantly gays and lesbians there. And the pastor was heterosexual. His son was heterosexual, but one of his sons, his oldest son, was a gay man. And the pastor, prior to finding out about his son, used to preach about gay, wrong, homosexually bad, your boy is. And now what happened to him? He just... And now it's like, I mean, I'll tell you, man, I was in that place and it just felt so real, because that's some truth right there. And that's what I mean by truth can just change people's worlds, man.
And I think we're in a time where, because of science, thanks to the advances in technology, we are, a lot of those old truths that we held on to, I'm not going to say will fall by the wayside, but they are being challenged and will be challenged even more as we move forward.
Yeah. But that's why people like me and you are here, and we're going to keep speaking the truth and just talk about how important truth is and how powerful it is.
All right, Chris, what about this in the real world? Artificial intelligence right now, law enforcement and AI might be coming together soon. And companies are working with departments to develop body cameras that could identify faces in real time. So cops would have, the cameras on like they already have. But as they're walking down the street, they'll have on a little glasses or something in their ear that if they're walking by somebody that's wanted, boop, 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 flashes right up. If they walk by a kid that is, had been missing, boop, 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 it pops right up in real time there. Mm-hmm. Exciting or scary? A little bit of both.
When you sit with it, the initial response is new. So new we equate as good and exciting.
Not always. Sometimes there's a fear that comes along with the new.
Well, I mean, the initial thought, they can't have both thoughts at the same time.
Well,
it's either going to be fear or either going to be positive.
Right.
Then it tends to be like, oh, happy. And then it's like, ooh, because I was like, ooh, that'd be great. But then I was thinking, but doesn't everything get perverted at some point by human beings? They take advantage of it and make it for power. And this is the United States based on greed and power and all that. Like, so you're going to take that same group and then give them this, and they're going to have even more power because now they got the robots. We got the what do we have that they don't have? Oh, let's make some robots and let's just tell the people that it's for their protection. And then we got the dude. Why not? Look at every single big company you see, they're taking advantage of people. Every company you see is taking advantage of people. Yep. So you want me to think that, and that's where the other side comes in, where I go, that sucks. But we will all go through it together, and hopefully, hopefully everything will work.
See, look at the screen behind you, Chris, and you'll see, so this is it in action. Person. Oops, subject found, and that's the little kid right there. So you're sitting there walking the streets.
That's BS. That kid's got food in his hands, and he's eating stuff in his hands too. But that's a subject found there together. Who gave this kid who's by himself some food? Come on, man. That's so easy to take a picture and just write persons and just say subject found. You want me to just believe what you're sending me?
That's probably what they did for this, just for an artist rendering of what it would look like. Let's see.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that they're trying to get us to be like, oh, this is great. That's how it would be.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And I'm saying,
but what you're saying is going to be perverted, and somebody's going to hack the system.
This is how you get people to be like, oh, great. I'm saying, wait a minute, dude. Like, don't just buy what they're trying to tell you, because, again, like you said, then it turns into we can just get who we want and round up whoever we want. If you know that this is the person, that's the person, this is the person.
Well, that's the fear. That's the fear that comes in.
And what I'm saying, but if that is a possibility, I'd like to stay away from that possibility.
No, but that's the fear. That's the thing. Well, that's like saying nuclear energy. Once we discovered how to release, release the energy of the atom, we should stay far away from it, because we know if we go down that path, well, there will likely be an accident along the way that will destroy an area, and they'll likely weaponize it. Well, that's just not the way it is. That's not the way it goes. We got to take the good with the bad, and
I think it's the love.
And the possibility, the stuff that you're talking about, I think is just so low probability. And if they're going after somebody, they're going after politicians and high-powered CEOs. And I'm not saying we shouldn't protect everybody, but I just think the chances of it are just very minimal.
I just think that
everything can be perverted by us. We can weaponize everything. I
think it's the love. I love life the way it is. And so I'm just kind of voting for the love life the way it is. Like I just, I can look at the computer. Yeah, it's convenient to have your computer in your pocket. Yet, is it also not a distraction? Is it like we're speeding up and we don't even have relationships anymore because we're just all on our phones? Go out and eat and look at how many people are on their phone instead of actually connecting with who's in front of them. Like, do we think that's actually a good thing?
Just a phase.
And
I look
so
at it
when
as
you
just a
say,
phase.
okay, so then we say that's technology, right? So now we're going to do more technology. And so what
not
do you
stopping.
think and so therefore, and that's what I mean. It's like you could say fear, or you could say trajectory, you could say mathematics, you could say whatever you want to say. But to me, yeah, I don't necessarily, I could see where that could be a round 'em up type situation. Like, there's the people
It
up top.
could be used for a round 'em up conversation or type of situation.
Isn't it kind of like, they started that, they were taking the prisoners and taking them to the island of Australia. But think about it, they were sending them away to Australia. Like, we've been doing that round 'em up thing for a while. I mean, slavery, like, that is a weird human power thing. And if we are still that, which we are, and now you want to put AI into that, the only way to do it is to get the people to agree to it themselves, and by giving them the illusion of safety. And the problem is people listen and watch TV so often that they believe every single thing they hear, single thing they see, instead of just being who they are. And you're taking a bite out of it. And so watch, what's going to happen is we're going to demand that. Watch. We're going to demand it. We're the same people that glossed over the murder, the massacre in Nevada because we were too busy talking about football players kneeling. Don't think that wasn't happening. I was hearing more about that than the people who got killed, and that we are those people. So watch. Those same people are going to be like, we want AI. You'll see.
No, you're right. It is going to be that because it'll either come in the way of fear, so security.
They're going to say,
and in games.
They're going to say
security and games.
Like we got
accept it,
and they'll use the children.
So well, the thing is, but Chris, but here's the thing.
Isn't that a great way? Let's use the children and say, oh, your kids need to have this so you can keep an eye on them and a tracking device so you know where they are. But now we know where they are, and then
good. All right, to each his own. If a family wants to bug their kid, put a GPS in their kid.
Yes, and all I'm saying is at some point we're all going to be demanding it and asking for it, and it's going to bite us in the bum.
Yeah. It is going to be difficult times. Major changes are upon the human race.
I mean, this is why
there will be winners and there will be losers.
Like, if you think about it, right? Like 200,000 years ago when the hominids started, what was it all about? Was it to get
standing
to AI?
up? No, standing up.
Was it to get to more help, to make life even easier?
Well, how do you think we stood up, Chris?
Like, I hear you, but like I'm saying,
think about people going, sit the fuck down back then. They're like, no, quit. Hey, Nook. Yeah. You need to sit the fuck down. We don't do that standing stuff like those sapiens over there.
Yeah,
whatever.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, think about it, man. Like, but it wasn't even about any of this. It wasn't about that, and like cell phones and Kardashians and this rapper and that. Like, life is what is going. This is not Snapchat and oh whoa, it's crazy, man.
That's the exhaust. Okay, of all the amazing, beautiful, wonderful, technological, medical advances of our time, there's an exhaust that comes with it. Like having a great car, there's still some shit that pours out of the end. So I think in these moments this is when we're focusing on the exhaust. Now, sometimes the exhaust can fill the room and be choking and gag you to death. But for the most part, you just figure out how to minimize the exhaust.
And you don't look at it and you don't go through it. I hear you. But
well, all right. Back to some more comments before we get out of here.
Can anyone else leave a comment about that and say, do you agree? Do you think that we have too much technology? Maybe we need to leave it alone for a little bit.
I babysat a child who had a phone and one that didn't at the same time. There was a huge difference in behavior for sure. Chris, that is a great anecdote, but that's all that is an anecdote. It is not scientific data. If you were studying 30 children or 300 children and had controls and then I can go down that path with you. But I'm not saying that you're not wrong, though. I'm not saying that you are. I'm not saying that you are wrong.
I'm just big into freedom, and I know that the times when my phone is broken by accident and I didn't have a phone for 4 or 5 days, how it was great to not feel that someone had their hand in my pocket, someone get upset because I don't respond back to them when they're calling me.
Oh, there's going to be
you know, just that weird, as I'm saying, perverse, man, like that weird thing that's done. Like, man, think about it, man. There's something off with that. We're just a little.
Well, there'll be a push. You know, as we move forward, these next generations, I think you'll see a push. You're already seeing it where people that would normally follow a certain trajectory, a life path, have made decisions in their 30s, their 40s, and their 50s to drop everything and then go on the road. They get a little, one of those fifth wheels or something like that, and they're just touring the country, seeing things, spending money wisely, making some money here and there. But even outside of that, because of what's happening now, you are going to see a wave of people that run, that go out into the wilderness. You know, they go, screw all this is happening too fast. It's too much.
Dude,
I'm cutting it all.
That's what I saw in Hawaii. I saw all of the people that, you know, you go to festivals and you call them festival people, and they're just really happy. You know, that's where I was at. It was just nothing but happy people who are like running from that level.
All right, so here's my thought on that.
Talk about it.
As I sometimes will go back and forth of where do I want to be, and where I want to try to be is I want to try to straddle. I want to try to straddle modern society with where we came from, kind of like what my brother's doing and his wife is doing up in Ocala. They have 4 acres. They're still very much work in the real world and this and this and this, but they also come home to some room to be themselves and to be creative and this and this and this.
That's a lot of room to be yourself.
Yeah, and so
Awesome.
so sometimes when I'm looking down that road, and pondering the choice of going with all the technology of the day, just submitting and committing to that versus fighting it and trying to just carve out my niche, say, I don't need any more of your technology. I don't need any more of your this. I can do life like this. Will eventually that thought, that philosophy, that approach, the second one, will you end up ultimately being left behind because civilization will advance and it'll eventually come back on top of you, and you'll, whether it's your children or your great-great-grandchildren, you can only stave that off for so long.
This is what I think. I think that Bob Marley had it. I think he was a messenger, and he said it ends how it begins. And that might even be in scripture somewhere. It ends how it begins. So I feel like the simple way is where it's going to come back to. I feel like that's why I was trying to get to you about back in the day, like when life was simple, when times were slow, where they didn't necessarily have cell phones and this and quick, go. And I feel like that we're speeding up so fast that we're just going to, it's like a motor and it ends up burning out. And some people are aware of that and are, wait a minute, this is, I'm not take a bite out of it because, so I do feel like, there's a level of understanding, just different types of understanding. And nothing's wrong. Like if you're in the go world, then that's what you like, cool. But some people just say, you know what?
Yeah, I tried to switch gears because of just my personality. I was go. I could never be in the moment. I could never be present.
I'm with you. Yeah, I think you and I, back when you and I were really, really popular, crazy popular, you and I, same thing.
It was
go.
And then I reached that point where I'm like, F this and try to slow down a little bit, but it is not as easy. It's not easy.
Man, like when the White House called my phone, that was my moment of like, whoa, dude. Like we've been, okay, and now it's.
Now what?
Like the band it was going so fast that we burnt out. And then that happens. Then and it's like you see it and you're like, I don't even care. Yeah, whatever. Because man, and then what do? Take off and live at the beach. So it's slow.
Aisham's talking about yin and yang, and remember the balance in the universe. That was back when you were talking about the balance. And Chris Brown talking about the kid with the cell phone. Mm-hmm. He says, but I love technology, so it's going to be hard for my kids because our life revolves around it. Mm-hmm. I want to try and not give a fuck as much.
True.
Enough to take care of my family, teach them to be themselves, and figure it out on your own. The tools will be there. Yeah. It is their choice to to use them.
Who said this?
Chris Brown. What is left behind? Some
Go,
people
Chris
will
Brown.
live with just a phone to call and text and enjoy festivals. LOL. So what he's saying is it's going to be fine if you decide to live on the fringe or not go down
Chris Brown, like that guy.
If you're, because there are going to be people that'll be making choices to add. They're going to become cyborgs. They're going to meld with technology over the coming generations.
It will be.
And there'll be others go, listen, I've got this little cell phone. It gets me just connected enough, but I'll my entertainment will come on under the Friday night lights, or at festivals on the weekend, hanging out with my kids down at the Springs.
And I feel like most people are like Chris, deep down. That whole Democrat, Republican, I feel like most people are exactly on Chris Brown's level. Like, yeah, just not as much, and take care of my family, and yeah, you're grounded, brother. Who else? What else we got?
That is. Whoops. Oh, now I'm messing with the signal there. Messing with the stream. I think we are good. Sorry, I text so fast. We're good. We're good, man. Anything else on your chest today? So you actually are here to get downstairs and do some stuff in the studio for a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah.
Are you feeling it today?
I was just thinking about Chris Brown. Like, how much flack did that Chris Brown get when I bet he was getting no ladies when that Chris Brown was doing? Like,
when he was
set
beating
the record
Rihanna?
straight. Yeah. Sorry, my bad, Chris Brown. Like, we got to bring up old shit. No,
maybe that is the Chris Brown.
yeah, he's going far. I'm gonna show everyone I'm a good dude, man. I've changed. Yeah, I'm gonna go downstairs and do a record. So listen, man, my brother going. I still can't even say it. Did you see that? I still can't even say it.
That's all right. It's all right.
It's got me on this. I just want to play because I got my babies, and I just want to play and record just all the songs I've got, just playing, and. So yeah, I'm gonna go set up and just record just a couple, just me.
Well, all right. So with your brother passing, getting killed, there's an urge in you to get all your songs out and down in that studio. So everything that you've written, you want to.
Every single thing.
You mean like because you want the video versions of everything, not just what you have on CD and.
I think for some situation, I mean, you could record video and then you could just put it on CDs.
By the way, that camera you're on right now, that one over there, it's the angle, it's propped up by one of your CDs. I just want you to know.
See, I come in handy, son. I got your back regardless. I could be anyways, a coaster. What do you need?
Man.
No, So I feel like just there's something to be said about seeing something, and so for my kids, that they can watch the emotion I have, they can see me, they can see it. You can feel it more when you see it, and then you can always record it and put it on CD. So yeah, I think like that'd be great. I'd love to just have that. I have it.
Awesome, man.
My dad playing, and so I don't know when I'm gonna go, but like there's a very real comfort that I'm getting with all the messages that I've saved from him throughout the years, and I shared it with Jen, who's his wife and my sister. I shared it with her, and it was really great for her to it helped. So she was crying and laughing at the same time. Like, that's healing. So seeing that, it's like, man, I want to just make sure that I got so much that anyone who loves me, they can just they feel good. That he was a good dude, and he just. You feel it.
I love it.
So, yeah.
So will you be back in when are you back in here?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Come on. Every day. Let's do it.
I say we do a whole week, man.
All right.
I say we do a whole week.
Chris McCarty in all week long this week on the Wake.Show. Make sure you join me tonight at tonight is Tuesday. So Tuesday, it's Trivia Tuesday at Boulevard Burgers on St. Pete Beach. And then starting May 1st, I'll be having a late night trivia night in Tampa. I want to start talking about that now. It'll be at Ducky's on Kennedy starting at 10 o'clock. It'll be 10 to 11:30 on Tuesday night starting on, I believe it's May 1st. How about you? Any games this week?
Every Wednesday this month. Every Wednesday I'm going to be at Krabby Bill's in Indian Rocks Beach, 6 o'clock. And then I'm going to be at the Hard Rock this Friday at the Council Oak.
Nice. I still haven't been there.
What? Johnny T showed up, man. Johnny showed up on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, at Council Oak?
Yeah.
Well, he makes more money than I do.
It was really cool, man. It was good to have him there. It was nice, especially after our little Pixar. Does everybody agree at home? Does everyone know what happened? We had the Pixar.
I'm sure they don't agree.
So Walt Disney World, we said that it was the best Disney movie was The Lion King, and we said the best Pixar movie was Toy Story. And in the end, we said we went with The Lion King. You got 30 seconds to write yay or nay, and we'll shout your name out.
No. Well, I've got 30 seconds before I have to pee.
Well, you can pee out. I'll handle it. I'll handle the people.
You keep talking to the people.
Right.
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah,
You do your thing.
This is perfect. All
There you
right.
go.
So let me just. We want to see what you guys think. So what was it? I think the final four was Lion King on Disney versus Aladdin. So on Disney, Lion King, Aladdin, and then for Pixar we had Toy Story versus Finding Nemo, which was really difficult. Clearly they went with Toy Story. What would you guys say? So we ended up saying that. So and if you watched the game last night, Villanova won. Called that beat down. Beat down. And yeah, so I think for the sports nuts out there, it's fair to say, I forget the coach's name, but it's fair to say that he's going to be one of the greatest of all time. Izzo only has one, and we talk about him all the time. And yeah, dude, what's the coach for the Syracuse? Man, I keep forgetting these names. But Syracuse coach, he's I'm just trying to fill time and talk about something. I saw some shit earlier today on TV before we way out, trying to act like I know something, but I don't really know anything. So
We have a vote for Lion King.
yeah, so if you guys just do me a favor, so when he comes back in, all right, so y'all, someone just write what you think, Lion King or Toy Story, just so Chris thinks that I can hold the fort down while he's gone. That would be great. I'd appreciate it. Okay, we gotta see here. There we go. Minion movie. Wait, the Minion movie? You thought that was better than Despicable Me 2? No, dude. Come on. All right, so Chris is back. We'll see what happens. I appreciate.
Minion movie, Lion King.
Chris Brown said Toy Story. I was with Chris Brown until he said Toy Story. You're still cool, Chris, but you're only Toy Story cool, dog.
Toy Story for the W. All right, thank you everybody for being a part of the Wake.Show today. Thank you, Chris, for coming in. I will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Morning.
See you tomorrow, brother.
We will see you tomorrow, and have a great day.